Yeah, I'm in the lab, man. I'm finna get straight to it, man. Ain't no good church, man. Turn up, bold, bold. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna offend the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews, whoever. Hey, I done been to so many churches, bro. This why I left the church right here. This this why I left church. It's a waste of time, bro. This why I left church. I left church, bro. I left Christianity. I left church. It's cap. It's a waste of my time. I don't need to do it. See, most people that go to church, they're getting their ears tickled, and they're being deceived. Like they're getting their ears tickled and they're being deceived. And I got tired of getting my ears tickled and being deceived. You say, well, Chris, that's crazy, bro. How you gonna sit here and say, no, church is not cap. Christianity is not cap, bro. They be like, I'm a Christian. That means I'm a follower of Christ. The word Christian is in the Bible 3 times. Twice in Acts and once in Peter. Cap. 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 Twin. Where have you? Let me show y'all how y'all got finesse. I'm about to show you how Christians and Christianity and church people got finessed. I'm about to show y'all right now. Hold on. I'm about to show y'all right now. Because y'all got finesse. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be like a jerk. I'm not trying to, none of that, bro. But I can't sit here and let my people be deceived, bro. I can't, bro. Because one thing you gotta realize is they finessed y'all with Jesus and the Lord. That's Baal. That's Nimrod worship. Y'all, you wanna know how you got Christmas, Thanksgiving, church, the Lord, Nimrod. They worship Baal. That's Baal. You worshiping the Lord, you worshiping Baal. Straight up. I ain't gotta talk too much, bro. It's Baal worship. It's the same thing they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. Jude 1, even the Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar way to these have given themselves over to whoring and going after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, undergoing judicial punishment of everlasting fire. You know what I'm saying? They gave themselves over to their fleshly desires, bro. There's no good churches. Church is the same way. Church members give themselves over to their own lust. Why do you think you have a pastor up there talking for an hour and a half and he's only read five verses in the Bible? He'll read one verse and he'll ramble or rant for 10, 15, 20 minutes, bro. None of that what he said is in the Bible. He'll give you one verse and then he just start ranting so he can make it relatable or so he can make it to fit his own narrative. He leans into his own understanding. He eisegizes the text. He does what's called, I think that's called expository preaching. That's when you painting all these pictures. I don't need you to paint nothing for me. I know how to read. That's why the church is so weak right now, because they say, oh, we'll go to a good church. There's no good churches, bro. The word church is not in the Bible. It's ecclesia in Greek and it's kahal in Hebrew. It's assembly of called out ones, a gathering of called out ones. It's an assembly. It's not a building, bro, that you go to on Sundays. Whatever. Like, well, what about just being a Seventh-day Adventist? Don't they worship Jehovah? That's not the name. Do not take the name in vain. I wouldn't go to somewhere that's taking the name in vain and breaking a commandment. Why would I go somewhere that's breaking a commandment? Huh? So, no, bro. No, like, there's no good churches, bro. There weren't no apostles weren't preachers. The bishops weren't preachers. They might have been in the synagogue. They might have been to a temple. But they weren't preachers preaching every Sunday. They weren't preaching or praying to Jehovah or Yahweh. They weren't doing none of that, bro. They weren't praying to Yahweh, bro. They weren't, like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you worship on the 7th day, but you worship a whole nother deity that's not Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim. It's not Yod Head, Vod Head in the Tetragrammaton. So, bruh, what you mean good church? Pastor just over here rambling about what he want to talk about. You talking some good church. Oh, they give to the poor. Okay, but they read out of a 66 book Bible. Like what? They're reading out of a 66 book Bible that follows Protestant canon. What are you gonna teach me? The Protestants took out the most books of the Bible out of anybody. After the 1800s, nobody had ever removed books from the Bible like the Protestants. So why would I go to a Protestant Bible reading church? That's not reading from Jubilees. That's shortening Torah. They're doing the opposite of Torah. They're not keeping the commandments. They don't talk about the commandments. Like, come on, why would I go there? That's a waste of my time. I'd rather go to brunch with the Turkers. Get it sexy. Get it sexy. Get it. I'd rather go there, bro. I'd rather go there. Let me tell you something. Jude explains it perfectly because it talks about those who belong to the condemnation and they crept in unawares. Woo. Hold on, let me see that. Let me see that, y'all, because they crept in unawares. That's why this book of Jude is so amazing, because it's a short book, but at the same time, it's so loaded. It is so loaded. It is such a book that tackles so many issues. You can read this book in 5 to 10 minutes. I encourage everybody that can read the book of Jude. You read if you're a Christian or if you're a believer, if you read the Bible, because Jude says, I felt the necessity to write to you, urging to you, earnestly contend for the belief which was once for all delivered to the set apart ones. So back in the book of Acts, it tells you how the apostles and all of them was on one accord. So Jude is pretty much just saying you got to earnestly contend for the belief which was once for all delivered to the set apart ones. And then, for certain men have slipped in whose judgment was written about long ago. I need that King James Version. Yes. For there are certain, this Jude 4, for there are certain men crept in unawares who were before of old ordained to this condemnation. Ungodly men, turning the grace of our Elohim into lavishness and denying the only Yahuwah Elohim and our Yahushua HaMashiach. So, certain men crept in unawares. They were ordained to the condemnation. They were ordained to the synagogue of Satan. That's the condemnation. It's an evil spirit. It's the adversary. They were ordained. They were locked in. They were down for the set. And they crept in unawares. They were ungodly. They turned the grace of Elohim into lavishness. Prosperity gospel. Come on, Jude is called. Jude's fighting. Pew pew. Pew 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 pew. Jude is sniping, baby. Jude is sniping. For there are certain men crept in unawares who were before of old. So he's saying them same people that were of old, Baal, the Lord, Nimrod. Yeah, now he's talking about how they're going to keep doing it and how they're going to do it in the future. Look, the Romans, the Protestants, synagogue of Satan, you know what I'm saying? The Vatican, they're going to deny the only Yahuwah Elohim and our Yahushua HaMashiach. They're going to deny, because there's only one, and it's not Jesus. It's not Jesus. That's how y'all got finessed. See, long story short, they finessed y'all with, this is an action-packed video. I'm giving y'all so much gems right now. This is why they call me Jim Jones. See, the finesse of Jesus was, the Bible was written in Hebrew. Bar none. It's written in Hebrew. Shut up, Owen. It was written in Hebrew, and so what happened was, they took it from Hebrew, and they translated it into Greek, and they translated it into everything else, including English. So it's Hebrew, Greek, everything else English. In the Hebrew, it was Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh, YHWH, and Yahusha. In the Greek, it's Isis, I-E-S-U-S, I-E-S-O-U-S, Isis, Ausis. From the Greek Isis to English, you got Jesus. But how do you go from Yahushua HaMashiach to Jesus? They crept in unawares, lost in translation. Where have you been? This is, hey, I ain't making none of this up. This scripture, Jude just said it was gonna happen. How? Because if they crept in, if they crept in the opposite of unawares, you would have caught them and you could have called it out. Scriptures say there's gonna be a strong delusion. To worship Jesus is to deny Yahusha. To worship God is to deny Elohim. Because God is a title made up in English. Elohim is plural. God is singular. Elohim is Yahuwah and Yahusha. How do I know? Because in Genesis 1, the first word is Bereshit in Hebrew. In English, it's in the beginning. In Hebrew, it's Bereshit. The what is it? The beta and the aleph. I could be mistaken. I'm not a Hebrew expert. I'm learning. But the first two words in Bereshit means sun. Bereshit means in beginning, and in the picture part of the Hebrew, it literally illustrates how the sun has been there when in beginning. See, they're not teaching y'all that in church. They're not giving y'all the creation account in church. They barely give y'all the law. Some give y'all the Torah, some give you the commandments, but you got to seek for those. But I'm trying to tell you, I don't need to go to church, bro. Because there's no good church. I'm good. I just read the scripture.